welcome along to another episode. So we were on our way towards Abercarn. We did get up to Chepstow this morning. I was sent an email, but obviously because I was driving I didn't see the email, so I've just driven past you. So I got up to where the customer site is to realise that shouldn't have gone all the way up there. So I'm on my way back down to Abercarn now. Yes, it is. And we're going to pick up ourselves a 360 excavator. So that's a Komatsu 360. So hopefully it's all cleaned off and everything. And then we're going to take that back to Chepstow then. So hopefully they washed it off, otherwise we'll have to wait with it for a bit. But if it's off high, yeah, they're pretty good up here. It should have been done. Should have been done. So not a bad morning. A bit of fog on the hills there, as you can see over there. The sun's out. It's a bit low. Traffic's a bit slow going eastbound because of it. So if you had noticed, the logo has been updated. They've gone a bit more official. I know some people prefer the old logo with my face on it with just TruckerTimbo underneath, but unfortunately you could probably have that printed on say a t-shirt or something like that, but because it's a lot of detail in it, it's not really going to be effective on embroidery. So you think of where I'm going now, so that's why I've gone for a simpler logo, but it looks effective. So it's a permanent thing. It's gonna be there for, you know, as long as it is. The old logo itself is, you know, I mean, it was just something I knocked up, you know what I mean? Thought that'd be pretty good for YouTube and everything like that. But then I'm starting to think now, maybe, you know, it'd be nice to have maybe a t-shirt made up for myself, or a hat made up for myself, or a hat made up for other people, if you know what I mean. You know where I'm going with this. So it's not something, you know, I'm going to do straight away. It's obviously in the pipeline, but it'd be nice, you know, to have these things, you know, maybe do giveaways or something like that. But I could give something back to you guys. So that, you know, that's the type of things in the pipeline which is running through my head. So I thought I'll give it a redesign a logo, make it a lot more simpler. Only 2 colours, so that's going to help with cost on the embroidery. And it's quite simple, red and white. Job done. We're off the M4 now, heading up the valley towards Abercarn. We're just coming past Risca now. You'll see a lot of the old, well, you won't see a lot of it, you got to know where to look. There's a lot of history up here with the mines and stuff. And especially as we go up towards Abercarn, you come through a point where you've got an industrial estate on your left hand side, and that used to be a quarry. And they had in the 18 something or another, it was the Abercarn mining disaster, where there was an explosion underground and it buried a lot of workers, so men and boys. There was a lot of people killed in that accident. Devastating. It was a fair few years later before the quarry reopened again, but then carried on production for a fair while after, because there was so much wealth down there. But where the explosion happened, they never dug back through, like, to where they were, so the men are still buried underground. And so you do your own research on it, like, you know, I mean, it's surprising with all the history here of what has gone on, like, you know what I mean, around the area, because you would just drive past thinking it's a peaceful area, but when you look at the old maps, you find old burial grounds, which are just covered up now, like, innit? Which I'll come to in a bit, like, because I like this sort of mysterious, you know, ghostly sort of thing, like, you know what I mean? And it's like the woods down where I'm from, Penllygare Woods. I love walking through there, but it's the problem being with it is, you know, everybody thinks, oh, you know, I mean, it's you know, it's just, you know, a country park. Like, well, it is, but it's got a dark side to it as well, because it was a girl, Muriel, which lost her life at the age of 12. Just I think it was in between, it was either just after the Second World War or in between the First and the Second World War. And you know, you can't really get a layout of the way it is now, but she had to walk through the woods to get her home, you know, from school, like. And it was about a kilometre, or well, they say, I think either a kilometre or a mile, they say, not far off the difference between, which is about the right distance if you're walking from the top end down to the bottom end. And her life was taken from her as you approached the bottom, like, not far, literally just around the corner from her house. So she'd seen her mother through a back window and walked around, and she lost her life in. So apparently that's haunted as well. But up here, I got friends up here which state that they've seen activity up here. So we're just passing Cross Keys now. That was basically the main road at one time, before obviously these bypasses were built. Got the river on our left, and as we follow it up here, you can see the improved railway line that they've done. They've strengthened all the bank and everything. It looks like they've had a bit of a slide there already. That's the way it is, but you're right on the edge, like, with the rain and stuff like that. They can shift stuff, even the work that they already have done. An old railway line up there. Obviously disused, that one is now. But this Chapel Farm Industrial Estate, we're just coming up to it on the left now. You wouldn't think that this sort of area was all mining. Like, on the left here, the reason why it's called Chapel Farm is because it was a farm there, and it was also a chapel, and the farm got named after the chapel, Chapel Farm. So just up here on the left hand side, you got the, I think it's the rugby club. So just after all these buildings up here, you got a bit of a waste ground, which is what we're coming up to now when we get this mast. I think it's just been, or it's a little bit further up. No, it's a little bit further up. We'll come up to it now. Yeah, so you can come down this way. Yeah, that's right. You come down this way to it. This old road would have been on the map. It would have been across, running across there. So it's a lot changed, isn't it? But Chapel Farm was literally down there on the left. That's non-existent now. I don't think there's any resemble what's left of it now. You got the school there. That's where the Chapel Farm used to be. Now right here on the left-hand side, this waste ground, when you look at the old maps, that was a burial ground. And it's strange that nothing's been built on it, but that was a burial ground. Now, just after this burial ground by here, you've got some more industrial estates. Jerry Jones, and my mate used to work for Jerry Jones, and he said they had a dog which was out the back, and that dog was, and I'll come back to that in a second. Look at this old church now, and this old church is where they had one of the masses for all them people who died in the mine, because this on the left hand side was where the mine was, you know, where the pit was sunk and everything was on the left of us here now. So where that Jerry Jones was, you had obviously the burial ground, which is, you know, I mean, it shows on the old maps, but yet nothing's been built on it since then, if you know what I mean. It's a bit strange how everything else has been built around it, but not particularly there. And then on the left here was the quarry, not the quarry, the mine, sorry. And you know, obviously where they sunk the pits and everything, all this was all on the left hand side here, with all the railway tracks and everything. It was all on the left here. So that Jerry Jones haulage firm, where where they're located, one of my mates used to work as a forklift driver, and he said they had a dog there on site, and the dog ended up was barking frantically inside, like, innit? And I let the dog out, and the dog wouldn't want to go outside, like, but it was going absolutely mental. And he said the only way to describe it is like if something had clawed its way up the side of the building. You could hear it just clawing its way up the side of the building, which is vertical, and then clawing its way across the roof. He said he absolutely pantsed it. Now, what could that have been? You know what I mean? It's a bit of a description. You're in something clawing up the side of a building and then across the roof. If you heard something on the roof, you would take it could be an animal or something like that, tapping its way across the roof. But going up the side of a building is a bit thing. I said, did you go out and have a look? He said, hell no. So it's one of them ones. I believe him. You know what I mean? He's a good friend of mine. You know, he's not the type of person to lie. So if that's what he experienced, that's what he experienced, like it. Even though that sometimes it's hard to believe, but these stories and films wouldn't have come to light if there wasn't some sort of truth to them with the horror ones. So it's a lot of history around here, and I wouldn't mind going out in the night just to do a little bit of a ghost search and see what the activity is like around here, like, innit? There's bound to be something, like, you know what I mean? So we're just making our way up towards the quarry now. This is the final approach. This hill can be I've seen just trucks just loaded a 44 ton coming up here and spinning out. And see, we come up here a lot heavier. At least the road's a bit clearer than it normally is. So we're just coming into the quarry. I don't think I can film in here, so I'll have to stop and then catch all up on the way out. So if you're wondering why I'm crawling down this hill at the moment at the top of 7 miles an hour, it's just because I'm weighing over 60 ton at the moment with this machine on. So if I got to come to a stop, it's not going to be a slippy slidey stop. It's just going to be a nice gentle stop. See how big a machine is compared to that van, and look at that. So this is the biggest thing I can carry. Let's knock it down a gear. No, it's not willing. It's quite happy staying in the gear, it is, it says. Gotta be careful, but yeah, where these cones are, but yeah, I'm gonna try to keep over as tight as I can. The road's actually subsided by there, and I'm going to be coming past heavy. I'm going to get close to it as well. So I don't really want to be going down in the drink with the rest of it. You can see him. And all the spares goes on Parks' van there, which doesn't give me much space. But we'll squeeze past as tight as we can to him, so that we don't fall into the ditch. I'm kept the wheels a good Good few feet away from that then. We didn't want to get anywhere close to that. We'll start on the way up. So you tend to clock these things on the way up. Say if you do miss it, it can become problematic. It looks like they are earmarking to trim these trees down a bit, which is a bit of a godsend, because we do bring some big kit in here, you know, the biggest I can carry anyway, so like a B45 or this 316 here, and these trees just, they can become problematic because you can damage the machines on the way up. That's not good. See if he'll watch us pass now. We should be alright. Yeah, we'll be alright now. Just come out wide. Mr. Police Officer. Oh, the sun's bright there, isn't it? Thank you very much. So we want to watch that we don't catch the curbs yet. Otherwise, with this sort of weight on, we could take a tyre out quite easily. And just like that, we're back on the main road. Well, almost, but there's the main road. Leave these cars go past. It's not very fair on them. Leave this one, we'll go past it, and then we'll pull up. Just feathering the throttle there as I came around the corner, because my middle axle on the unit doesn't steer. It can sometimes, when you got weight in the back, keep you in a straight line. So obviously you don't want that to happen. So we're going to upset a few people now, because speed limit for us is only 30 miles an hour. I made a coffee earlier on. I don't think it's that warm. It's almost an iced coffee. So we'll have a bit more of a look down here now. Right, so the mine, you know, about the Abercorn mine, should have been on our right hand side over here then. So it's all industrial estate now. You wouldn't even recognise that it was anything like that down there, unless you're looking at old maps or something like that, or you might see the odd giveaway like. Yeah, just down here, it's an old church. It looks very, very, well, it is run down, but eerie. So it was where one of the masses were held for the deaths of the fallen in the colliery opposite. But if you look at it there now, look at it, it's just all boarded up and everything like that. I wouldn't mind getting in there and having a little look around and seeing if I can pick up on anything, you know. Definitely went up the cards, even just in an industrial estate, you know what I mean. It's a footpath which runs down here, you've got the Jerry Jones just there, which is where my friend had that experience, just literally on the side of the banker in that building. But then you've got this burial ground there, and when you look at the old maps from like 1800 and odd, where that rough bit area there, that's the burial ground. Obviously, Chapel Farm Industrial Estate, Chapel Farm was named after the chapel which was there. Chapel is no longer existent. Don't even think the farm's existing anymore now, because the farm is where, I think, if I remember rightly on the maps, is where the school is over there. So it can be easily forgotten about, like, you know what I mean. And then obviously then you're gonna have these residual energies, as they say, cropping up every now and then, like, but yeah, it would be interesting. Sorry, not it is. It would be interesting to get down there and have a good look at that. So you've seen a different side of me today, actually. My ghost hunting sort of side of things. Like, have I had any experiences? Well, I used to work when I was 16. I worked in a supermarket, and the supermarket, before the supermarket there, was in my local village. And before the supermarket was a pub called I think it was the Cree or the Cry or the Kai. The Kai. It was called the Kai. And the pub was, like, you know, it had been there since the village had cropped up. It was a big pub, you know what I mean, plenty of things there and stuff like that. And it obviously, you know, aged with the village as well. So the village became quite popular because of the mines and everything. I think it was about 3 or 4 mines around within the near vicinity, even though, never mind what was around the surroundings of vicinity as well. So obviously the pub would have been, well, it wasn't so much a pub. Well, it was, everybody called it a pub, but it was a big place, like. So more like a workman's hall, but it wasn't a workman's hall, if you know what I mean. But that sort of size, it was quite a big place. It caught fire when I was growing up, and it left there. It stayed derelict there for years, like, you know what I mean. Nobody reinvested in it and everything like that. So then a chap who was the owner of CK Supermarkets, he ended up buying the land and knocking the building down. But it was a thing with the locals and everything. You had to use the original stone to build the building back up, which he never did. He got rid of the stone and things, so it was a big uproar. So of course, a lot of people say then, because of what he did, it upset a lot of spirits. And when I worked in there, and you know, I mean, unless I have something happen to me, I'm not going to believe. You know, some of the stories I heard, yeah, somebody's account of it, but it can be twisted on. And I like to tell the truth. And basically, I was downstairs, and upstairs then you had where we used to store all the beer, like, you know. So upstairs, where this beer was, quite regularly the cans used to explode a bit, but that was more than likely because it was a tin roof and the temperature used to build up in there, and it wouldn't surprise me if that was the issue with that, like. So it was something to be explained. However, what can't be explained is when I'm downstairs and my voice gets called, I hear a voice from upstairs calling my name, and it says, Tim, come up here, Tim. And I'm like, okay, that's unexpected. So I go upstairs, thinking, oh, maybe a customer's gone up there or something like that, like, because there shouldn't be any up there. It's only me and another 2 girls which are working, and they're on the tills. And it was a male voice which called me, and I went up there, and lo and behold, there was nothing there, nothing there. But it just felt a little bit colder. Now remember, I said the cans used to explode because it used to be hot up there. Even later on in the evening, it used to be boiling up there, and it was cold. Now that's my experience. Now, I spoke to a couple of other lads, which were, you know, warehouse operatives like myself, and they had similar experiences where their name was called up and upstairs and there was nobody up there, like, you know what I mean. So that was quite a regular occurrence. It only happened once to me. The boys which were there, because I only used to work weekends, the boys which were there during the week and stuff like that, used to happen a little bit regular to them, like. So that was one of my experiences. And growing up on the farm, I used to cycle past the cemetery. I'd walk through a cemetery in the dark, it doesn't bother me, like, innit? I'm not afraid of things like that, like, innit? Because at the end of the day, they can't hurt you. You know what I mean? I'm more of a believer of, obviously they're trying to contact us for a reason. They got to tell us something. Unfinished business, as they say. But yeah, I've had an experience like that, and I've had a couple of other ones. I won't go into them too much now, innit? But you know, nothing drastic, you know what I mean, like plates flying around or anything like that, like nothing like that. You know, just where you can feel you got a bit of a presence around you, that sort of thing. Like, I think we call it a day by here now, and then we'll see how we go for another episode. But we'll call it a day on this one, and yeah, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you do subscribe, it does mean a lot for you, that does, especially how close we are to hitting them goals for the channel. And yeah, chuck a comment down, that helps with the video being pushed out. That'd be really appreciated, and don't forget to get that like. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.